Hey guys, review on the Husky multi-tool set that they're selling at Home Depot right now. This is a 2 multi-tool set for $10. And I bought this because there was a lot of good buzz generated about the Cobalt multi-tool that Lowe's was selling. I think it was like $14, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it got a couple of decent reviews. No, not top of the line, you know, but for $14, people said it was very serviceable. So I kind of figured, hey, this is Husky. You know, Home Depot, Lowe's, you know, it's probably similar quality. Boy, was I wrong. This thing is pretty much a non-serviceable piece of junk. And we're going to go through why, just so you understand my rationale on this. And as easy as this is to pick this up, because it is kind of, you know, it's very well priced and it looks nice, it's really not going to be serviceable to anyone who really uses tools. So let's get into it. First of all, we'll open this small one up. And, okay, we're good here. It is spring loaded. You can see the spring is right under here, which is exposed, which I do not like because it just seems to always get caught on things or pop out, and then you no longer have a spring loaded set of pliers. The, as you can see, hopefully you can see, there's very little except the very end of the pliers where contact is made. I mean, literally just, I mean, you can see my hand right kind of through them. The only thing it touches is that very, very, very tip. So if you want this to be a decent set of pliers, you're going to have to actually file down the tip of this small one. The wire cutters are essentially worthless. I was not able to cut anything other than really soft wire. You know, it'll cut like cheap copper wire or whatever, but it won't cut. You know, you can't take the head off a nail. You can't cut through anything of any substantial size with that. And the cutout for a bolt, you know, there's really not any bolts small enough that you're really going to be able to fit into that tiny little slot. I mean, you're talking a really, really tiny bolt to be able to get in there. So it's kind of a waste. They should have just left these needle nose. Okay, let's move on. Pretty much the tools on the little one are garbage. The blade is very wobbly. It's literally, you know, like you could probably break it off pretty easy, and these things just flop around. There's no retention at all, as you can see. These things are got like no retention. So we'll put those down, show you the knife. As you can see, you know, it's completely dull. You could probably, you know, you wouldn't be able to cut anything with that. It's, I mean, it is completely dull. Hopefully you can see it. You can see how blunt the edge is. You can actually see it's almost squared off. It's so blunt. Yeah, it's literally, hopefully you can catch it. It's really, really blunt and it's loose. Okay, so the little one's garbage. We got that. Well, we expect it. You know, little multi-tools like that, you really gotta spend the money to get a good one. So let's get that right out of the way there. But the big one's gotta be better quality, right? Nope. I was similarly disappointed with the big one. Now, it doesn't have the inherent problems of the smaller one. The lockup on the pliers is a little better. There is some air there. You can see some air, you know, but, you know, when you squeeze them down, that disappears too. So it is something, as it wears a little bit, that will have a little better lockup. You can see the weight behind it. Once again, the cutters are worthless. You can see where I tried cutting nails and stuff like that. You can see it already kind of dinged up the edges a little bit. So it's very, very soft steel. And the edges are all, you can see them, their edges are all chewed up already. And all I did was try to cut the heads off of some small finishing nails. You can't even do that. It's so dull, you can't even do, you know, little finish nails, brad nails, whatever. Just not going to do it. But I can take my Leatherman Sidekick, which is actually a hair smaller, and I can snap through full-size nails with that. So it's not just a matter of size. This thing is essentially worthless. It is about the same size of the Leatherman Sidekick. So your wire cut is worthless. Yeah, you can get some, you know, get some decent-sized bolts in there, but you're not going to get anything bigger than maybe like a 3/8 or so to actually be able to turn it. let's talk about the tools. The best tool on this is, of course, the file, which is pretty decent quality, to be honest, and it's got a decent lockup on it. You can see you got the screwdriver and all, which also have a fairly decent lockup. Okay, guys, let me get this out. I'm going to get this blade out. The blade has a decent lockup, but the problem is, once again, it is dull as it gets. Let's see if I can find something here. Here's a little piece of paper, and it just, even, you know, you can see it's not cutting. It's just ripping it, you know. It's really dull. It's almost, I'll show you again how much light the edge reflects, because it is so dull. It's almost like, I mean, look at all that light. It's super dull. Lockup's better though, and you can sharpen that. That's no big deal. But yeah, getting to the tools, guys, is damn near impossible. You can pull these out, you know, the little ones. You can just get in there with your finger and get them out. You know, you got the other little screwdriver and all that in there, but getting the knife out, it's recessed down in there so far, I actually can't get it out. You know, it's really a work to get that out. So it kind of stinks, you know. And that one's a serrated knife, and I can get it out, but I got to pull another tool out to get this thing out, because it's just it's in there too deep. It's in too deep. There's no way to get it, you know. So I actually got to get like a little pair of tweezers or something like that. We'll use this pen here. Maybe this pen will get it out so I can show it to you. There we go. This isn't bad. You know, a little serrated edge here. But like I said, it's really difficult to get this thing out. You know, the whole thing's held together with Torx bits, which is fine, but you know, I'm sure they're not high quality, and they're probably going to strip out over time, but that's okay. You can always Loctite them. The action on it, of course, is spring loaded like the other one, which I'm not a fan of, guys. It's, you know, if something gets in there and crunches in there, you know, you can really have a problem. You know, I know that's the way a lot of tool makers do it, but you know. And then the construction, you can see you got these pivots here, and the only thing holding this thing together is this little piece of stamped metal, which interfaces with the handles, which I think are aluminum. So you can see that interface there. That's all there is. That little bit of metal is just held in with the these little torque bits right here. So that's it. This piece attached, you know, that's the only thing that holds it together is kind of that. So I just see this as being something that'll fall apart eventually under heavy use. But even then, you know, guys, I don't think it's worth the $10. For the $10, you can get, you know, you can get a Gerber dime or something like that will actually, the wire stripper will work, the wire cutter will work, the pliers are better, you know. I mean, my God, even just spending $24 for a Leatherman Sidekick, you know, for the extra $15, you're, and you know, they are the same size, and that's kind of what drew me to it, is that size comparison. You know, you really are better off spending the extra money. Sometimes it's okay to go cheap, but in this case, you know, these things weren't able to do anything that spectacular to warrant $10. You know, they are crummy pretty much in every way. There's nothing quality about them. You know, there's not enough good retention to use them as a screwdriver. You know, the blades need to be really sharpened, and just everything about them just off. So I gotta say, if you see these for the holidays, guys, avoid them. They just don't seem to be worth it.